So the first topic of interest, right? We have heard about when it comes to a machine learning system, it's all about data, right? It's about more data you feed, better the system gets. More diverse data you feed, better your performance, and so on. We recently have been looking at some of the Gen AI, competition across the world, and claims about cost and size of the LLMs, and so on and so forth. So if you had to apply a similar, sort of a problem, Chenji, I'm going to start with you first. What do you look at when it comes to diversity of good data for training your model? What are some of the parameters you would look for in a good data set?
A great question. So I will talk about what I look for and talk about how you can get that estimate later on. So what I always look for is think about your ODD and your future. ODD stands for Operation Design Domain, I think.
Yeah.
Think about your ODDs and think about future ODDs. You want to diversify in terms of spatial and also temporally. I think just based on my experience, right? So different companies have different goals for sure, especially for robotaxi service. But you cannot you don't want to roll out your let's say product only at the middle of the night to operate, right? You also want to expand your footprint to different cities, but there will be a big difference based on my observation in the past. I worked on data set across, I guess, Arizona, California, Pennsylvania, as well as Singapore, as well as Korea, all over the world. They're different, right? There's like snow piles on the ground for Pittsburgh data you need to handle. There's also like very flat ground, boring kind of suburban area in Arizona you want to handle as well. So these are I think the factors you need to consider, which means as a ML engineer, right, you want to stay really close to your testing and operation team. They're actually a critical piece to help you to get you the critical data that solve this puzzle. That's my high-level opinion. Yeah.
Got it. So diversity in terms of your interactions, the time in which you're collecting different operational design domain, ODD elements that you have. Makes sense. But John, from your point of view, has this been your experience as well, or what different?
Definitely I echo Chenji's points, and maybe in general any ML models, like distribution is very critical, right? So we always talk about the out of distribution of the model being out of distribution. Maybe this is going to be abbreviation riddle, but don't let your ODD, operation defined domain, to be OOD, out of the distribution, right? The models like obviously there are generative models, but even those models are having in the distribution. In order to get those distribution nodes, they are synthesizing the small pieces and generating something new from those small pieces of synthesized, let's say, the words, right? Especially in AV, I think this is really, really important for LLMs. Like embarrassing mistakes maybe can give you, like the ChatGPT can give you an embarrassing answer, but for the AV, this is safety critical, right? Someone in the car. So in understanding this, ODD and also your distribution become critical. And then what are the levers? Mentioned the spatial temporal, right? This is one of the obvious ones. Chenji mentioned some of the things related to being in different cities, or like the being in different, like the environments, the weather conditions. So understanding these data, like the domains, is very critical. And also like how to handle this. I think there are a couple of methods to doing this. It's just how to see the distribution, right? There are classical methods and also like very advanced methods to handling those, clustering in the sense of the embeddings, what people call like the essence of the data, right? So because you want to have sometimes very large of data, but you also don't want to overfit to that data. You want to keep the distribution and get away from the overfitting. So there are a couple of methods that people are using to make sure the diversity is there and distribution is well handled.